I'm Emily P. Freeman, and welcome to The Next Right Thing. You're listening to episode 382. This is a podcast about making decisions, but also about making a life. If you struggle with decision fatigue, chronic hesitation, or if you just need a few minutes away from the constant stream of information and the sometimes delightful but also distracting hum of entertainment, you're in the right place for discerning your next right thing. I'm an author, a spiritual director, and an occasional workshop leader. I live in North Carolina with my family, and through my work, I've helped thousands of spiritually thoughtful people overcome decision fatigue so that they can discern their next right thing in faith, work, and life. If you're in need for a gentle inner life wellness check, this episode's for you. Listen in. I'm going to jump right in here with 5 questions that you can answer today that will help to bring some quiet to the inner chaos, because clearing the clutter on the inside will almost always lead to more confident decisions on the outside. Sometimes for questions like these, I set timers because it helps keep my hand moving and forces me to just be honest with my first thought rather than try to find thoughts that feel or sound more spiritual. For some people, a timer will shut you all the way down. If it's not helpful, don't use it, throw it on out. But for me, it wakes me up, it gets me moving. Your girl loves a deadline, even just a little bitty timer. Do whatever helps you be the most honest. Okay, so here are our 5 questions. Number 1. What is ending and what is beginning? We're taking a look at our inner life and we're being honest about what is the right now reality of our lives. And for all of us, our right now reality is that we are always leaving rooms and finding new ones. So take a few minutes to name what is true right now in your season, in your life, work, relationships. At any given moment, something's starting up and something is winding down. We're always moving through endings and beginnings. Some are more obvious than others. And if we want to be honest about what's happening on the inside and how it's impacting the outside, then take some time to name those endings and beginnings now. That's the first question. Number 2, what brings me back to myself? Refuse to overthink this. Name the activities, the places, people, or habits that help you feel like you. Again, set a timer. I'm talking 3 minutes, 5 at the most, and write down what comes to mind. Do not, under any circumstance, try to impress yourself or make it harder than it needs to be. Don't write down things that you think should make you feel like yourself, like, well, I feel like myself when I play with my kids or work when I work out. I mean, that might be true, but don't write it down unless it is true. Some of the things on my list are really, really small. Lighting a candle when I work, looking at the ocean, taking a walk, writing, teaching, being outside, thrifting, laughing with a friend. It all counts. And sometimes it might feel silly to be like, well, this is obvious. Well, if it's obvious, then this one will go really quickly for you. But knowing what brings us back to ourselves can be a gift in our outer life, but it starts by paying attention to the inner life. Number 3, what brings connection with God, divine love, your friend Jesus, the source of all life? The more I grow in God, the more I realize that my list of what brings me connection with God is almost identical or at least similar or overlapping to the list of what brings me back to myself. Now, I'll be honest and tell you that there was a time when I wondered if this was problematic. Like, can those two things be so related? Until I read David G. Benner's book, The Gift of Being Yourself. I'm going to quote him. He writes, "Knowing God and knowing self are interdependent. Neither can proceed very far without the other. Paradoxically, we come to know God best not by looking at God exclusively, but by looking at God and then looking at ourselves. Both God and self are most fully known in relationship to each other." Number 4, how do I name good and evil? You might be thinking, well, Emily, you took a real turn there. I know, but actually, did I? Because for me, An honest soul reset requires me to put into my own words what is objectively good, beautiful, and true, and what is evil, ugly, and false in our present right now day. If I avoid this practice, and to be honest, I most of the time want to, but if I do, then I'm in danger of living in a fuzzy, middle of the road, Aaron Burr like place of talk less, smile more, don't let them know what you're against or what you're for. If I don't know and name injustice first in God's presence and then in the presence of others, then I will lack clarity and I will lack courage. This, for me, is an essential practice for maintaining integrity and discerning my next right thing. And then finally, number 5, what are my non-negotiables this season? Now, that last part, this season, is very important because why? Our rhythms change over time. So, making these straightforward lists of what is ending and beginning, what brings me back to myself, what brings me close to God, how am I naming what's good, beautiful, and true, and what is not, these are essential for a soul reset for me. These simple lists will become the foundation for my practices, rituals, habits, my decisions, my small moves that will be non negotiable for me in this season. Now, what do I mean by non negotiable? I'm so glad you asked. A non negotiable could be anything from taking a daily walk to scheduling a weekly lunch with a friend. It could be something serious, like something really related to your health, or it could be something lighthearted. But the point of your non negotiables is to remember who you are and what is yours to do. So, what are the few things that will help you in this season to remember that, who you are and what's yours to do? And by the way, these things will not always stay the same. So, it's important as you think about non negotiables for this current season where you actually are, is to, of course, review what non negotiables may have been in the past, but not to rely only on those. So, for me, for my current season, a few non negotiables: walk every day. The distance, the time is irrelevant for me right now, but walking every day is a non negotiable. Reading every day, and that can be anything from something fun to something spiritual to something thoughtful, but reading every day. And then honoring my writing days, or you could say writing every day, but I don't necessarily write every day, but I do have specific days right now that I have designated as writing days. And for me, a non negotiable is to honor those just as seriously as I would if it was um, a doctor's appointment that I scheduled a year ago. And if I cancel it, then I'm going to have to wait another year. Like, that's how serious I'm trying to take my writing days. And by the way, I will also say that for me, all of these movements, and for all of us, I think, all of these can be a form of prayer. No, I'm not saying I read instead of praying or I walk instead of praying, but so much of these things, reading, walking, writing, all of these things are infused and woven together with a posture of prayer, whether that is with the words that I use before and after or during, or whether it's just I engage these activities that are non-negotiables for me with an understanding that I'm doing them in the presence of God. Now, the way I answer these questions will help me make decisions. They'll help me remember what to say yes and no and not yet to, and they will determine how I will allow the chaos and heartbreak of the world to inform my vocation rather than distract me from it. Maybe your next right thing today is to ask yourself these soul reset questions. What is ending and what is beginning? What gets you back to yourself? What helps you feel like a person? What brings connection with God? How do you name good and evil? What are your non-negotiables this season? So here's to setting a timer, to getting honest about our first thought responses, and to continuing to do our next right thing in love. Thanks for listening to episode 382 of The Next Right Thing. I hope the simple practice of asking yourself these simple soul reset questions can be just one more rung on the trellis upon which your rhythm of life can continue to grow. Because while it's true, this is a podcast about making decisions, the bigger truth is our daily decisions are making our lives. Now, when How to Walk Into a Room first released, perhaps it's true that you were not in a season of hellos or goodbyes. You weren't making a big decision. You weren't discerning whether or not to leave a space or to walk into a new one. But perhaps for you, almost 2 years later, Now you have a room or two in your life that you're beginning to question. Is it time for me to figure out a way to stay here? Or is it time to walk away? And how can I know? Well, a reminder, How to Walk Into a Room is available in paperback. That means it's cheaper than the hardcover, and you can grab a copy wherever books are sold. Now remember, if you have a hard copy that's hardcover or softcover, that's anything other than the audiobook, remember to claim your free gift. Where is the free gift, Emily? I'm so glad you asked. If you go to the back pages in the back of the book, there is a QR code to redeem a free collection for hellos and goodbyes inside the Quiet Collection app. You just scan that code and it takes you to a page and you follow the instructions. And there you will find how to redeem your free blessings for hellos and goodbyes right there in the app. There's also a free downloadable workbook that you can download in the app. It's all included with your purchase of either the paperback or the hardcover of How to Walk Into a Room. As always, you can find me online at emilypfreeman.com or on Instagram at emilypfreeman. And this episode was edited by the team at Unmutable and organized by the lovely Ashley Sherlock. Well, in closing, here is part of one of those blessings that I wrote. This one is called A Blessing for Leaving a Beloved Space. You can, of course, listen to me read this entire blessing as well as 14 others inside the Quiet Collection app for free with the purchase of How to Walk Into a Room. One thing you can know for sure, when you walk out of this room, you will not walk into nothing. Something new is always waiting. The ground of your own being is always ever there, ready to welcome you in. You are the beloved space, and you bring home with you wherever you go. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.